It was love at first sight. From the moment that woman set eyes on the dog, she knew that he was the one. He was a stray, skinny, and scared, with matted fur and sad eyes. But there was something about him that touched her heart. Something in his gaze told her that he understood her sadness, and so she took him home. When he first arrived, he was very scared. He would uneat or drink and spent most of his time hiding in the corner of the yard. She didn't force him to do anything. Instead, she just sat by him and talked in a soft voice, until he gradually began to come out of his shell. Over time, he began to trust her and would come to her for comfort when he felt scared. They played together, and she gave him lots of love and affection. And slowly but surely, the dog began to heal. His fur became shiny, and his eyes lost their sadness. And one day, the dog finally wagged his tail and licked her hand. It was the first time that she had ever seen him so happy. And in that moment, she knew that she had done the right thing by taking him in. She took him for walks in the woods behind their home. It was there that the dog really began to thrive. He loved to run and play in the forest, and he would always come back to her, tail wagging, eager for more adventures. The woods became their special place, a place where they could bond and create lasting memories together. One day, while walking in the woods, the dog suddenly stopped and began to bark. At first, she thought that he had seen a deer or some other animal, but then she heard a sound that made her blood run cold. It was the sound of a human voice, and it was coming from inside a cave that was hidden behind some trees. She tried to get the dog to move on, but he refused. He barked and paced and whined until she finally gave in and followed him to the cave. Inside the cave, she found a man who was sitting on the ground and crying. He was covered in dirt and blood, and he looked like he hadn't eaten in days. When he saw her, he tried to hide, but she knelt down and told him that she wasn't there to hurt him. She stayed with him for hours, talking and comforting him until he finally agreed to let her help him. With the dog's help, she got the man out of the cave and took him back to her home. When the man was feeling better, she asked him why he had been living in the cave. He told her that he had been a soldier, but he had become injured and had been abandoned by his unit. He had been too ashamed to go home, so he had been living in the cave and surviving on berries and rainwater. She listened to his story with compassion and told him that he didn't have to be ashamed. She had been in a similar situation once, and she understood what it was like to feel abandoned and alone. The dog seemed to sense the man's sadness, because he spent most of his time by the man's side, licking his hand and whining softly. It was clear that the dog was trying to comfort the man, and it brought tears to her eyes to see such loyalty and compassion in an animal. With her help, the man was able to get his life back on track. He found a job and a place to live, and he was finally able to move on from the trauma of his past. She watched as the man's life began to improve, and she knew that she had done the right thing by helping him. But it wasn't easy. There were times when the man felt like giving up, when he felt too ashamed or too broken to keep going. But every time he felt like that, the dog was there to remind him that he was loved and that he was worthy of happiness. The dog never left the man's side. He slept by his bed, ate from his bowl, and followed him everywhere. The man couldn't have asked for a better companion. One day, the man was out walking the dog when he heard a group of men laughing and talking. As he got closer, he heard them say something that made his blood boil. They were talking about how worthless he was, how he would never amount to anything. The man's face flushed with anger, and he wanted to confront the men and tell them how wrong they were. But then he felt a cold nose nudge against his hand, and he looked down to see the dog looking up at him with his head cocked to one side. The dog's eyes seemed to say, "Don't listen to them. You are loved." And in that moment, the man realized that he didn't need those people in his life. He had someone who truly loved him, and that was all that mattered. Turned and walked away from the men, and as he did, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that he didn't need those people's approval. He was enough just the way he was. The man hugged the dog tightly, burying his face in his fur. "Thank you," he whispered. "But I've no idea how much you've helped me." The dog licked the man's face, and in that moment, they knew that they had found something special in each other. They had found a bond that was unbreakable. Years passed, and the man and the dog grew old together. They went on countless adventures in the woods, and the dog was always by the man's side. When the dog finally died, the man was heartbroken. He buried the dog in the woods with full military honors, and he cried as he said goodbye to his best friend. Now, whenever the man goes to the woods, he feels the dog's presence with him, can hear the dog's bark echoing through the trees, and he knows that the dog is running free in the forest that they both loved so much. The man will never forget the dog who saved him, the dog who taught him that even when you're broken, you can still find love and happiness. And he will never forget the woman who brought them together. That's all for now. Thank you for watching this touching tale of a stray dog who found a loving home and became best friends with a wounded soldier. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more heartwarming content. Till next time, take care. Are you tired of feeling stuck, drained, and unhappy? Do you feel like your life is lacking purpose and direction? If you answered yes, then I have good news for you. You don't have to continue living like this. You can make a change and start living a life that you are excited about. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. So don't wait any longer. Make the decision to make a change in your life today. You deserve it. Gift the joy of well-being to yourself, your beloved mother, dear friends, and cherished pets today. Embrace Happiness, eBook. Practical Animal Energy Healing eBook. Available now at http://www.aznewtec.com/store